and with a commitment to forge an America that is safer, a world that is more secure, and a future that represents not the deepest of fears, but the highest of hopes. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
All right. I have many things to say. First of all, the ending was very inspirational, and I thought that was definitely the best part of the speech. And by the end, he made me want to believe in his policy. I didn't, but I wanted to believe.
Yeah, he got his Obama on in the last fourth of the speech there.
Absolutely. And before that, it was uninspiring and unconvincing, to be honest with you.
I disagree about the first part 100%. I thought it exactly framed it why. It reminded people of why are we fighting this war. And I thought very effectively, especially in front as you look at all those young faces out there. Those are young future officers who are going to put themselves in harm's way and the men and women under their command in harm's way. Those are the very people who he is saying, there's a good, I don't know how it breaks down, but there's a good chance people in that room are going to be wounded at the very least or killed in this fight. And it is a cause that matters. And so whether it's the right policy or not, it's a separate argument. But from an inspirational point of view and a reminder, I thought it was very effective.
The part that I was left unconvinced by, Ben, is that this is, as he said on numerous occasions, a real national security threat to us and to the world, and that this is where they're still planning attacks from which they're going to try to, come to get us, et cetera, et cetera. And there I'm thinking, really? There's very few Al-Qaeda left, by all accounts, in Afghanistan. Now, so that leads me to, I think, the most important point about the speech.
Right. The third part, his third.
Exactly. This isn't about Afghanistan. This is about Pakistan.
I wager, I don't know, I'd have to count it up. I bet he said the word Pakistan twice as much as he said the word Afghanistan.
So the reason we're staying in Afghanistan is something that the pundits, the commentators, et cetera, have not talked about very much at all. It's because of Pakistan, okay? And if Pakistan was not in the equation, I don't think he would have made the same decision. And the problem is Al-Qaeda, their top leadership, and some of the most dangerous Taliban leaders are in northern Pakistan. And I think what he's thinking is, if we withdraw from Afghanistan and we don't have boots on the ground, as much as we'd like to do, and we think drone strikes are somewhat successful, it's not enough to pressure, squeeze, and eventually eliminate Al-Qaeda in that border area.
If we leave Afghanistan, I think he is saying, and I agree with you, he is saying that we still give Al-Qaeda a safe haven, which would not necessarily which would not necessarily be a big deal in any way, shape, or form. Be like, yeah, whatever, Al-Qaeda has a safe haven, good for them. Except it's a safe haven next to Pakistan, and that we will not stand for.
Yes, and so he split the baby in a lot of ways. We're going to begin to leave in 18 months. But I'm sending in 30,000 troops, which is a lot of troops. That's a classic Obama move. Point number one as to the military strategy, and point number two as to the civilian strategy. Really, we're going to turn around Afghanistan in that short period of time, and we're going to weed out the corrupt ones, and we're going to leave the ones that are the good guys. I wasn't buying that part. I wasn't buying it before the speech. I wasn't buying it during the speech. But if he's basically telling us here, yeah, look, even if we don't get that job done, if we get rid of the main bad guys in Pakistan and Afghanistan, and then we begin to leave, well, that's a more doable goal, and I don't want to leave until we get Al-Qaeda. So, and we haven't gotten bin Laden, we haven't gotten Zawahir, we haven't gotten their top leadership. So I'm sympathetic to that. I hear that. And then he mentioned...
And just real quick, and if what we leave afterwards is a bunch of corrupt guys, but without Al-Qaeda, well, all right.
I mean, that's how it was before,
right.
And, it's not ideal, but we'll take it.
Real quick, we had the guest on previously, and I know you got to go because you're going to be on MSNBC at 9:15 Eastern Time. But when Drew Sloan was on from the Truman Project, if that's right, if what he said was right, then what we're essentially trying to do is get back to 2004 and finish that job and then leave. Mm-hmm. And obviously that's not going to be perfect, but it would be a situation where we would clearly feel more secure about the stability of Pakistan.
Two final quick points on the speech. One, he emphasized costs, which Bush never did. And that's something that, of course, the Democrats have been complaining about, saying, hey, this is taken away from our domestic priorities. And he went to that over and over again. So I thought that was important. That's part of the reason he's saying we got to start leaving in 18 months. And point number two, he appeared to be pissed about partisanship. I mean, for the first time, I saw a guy who was more assertive and more aggressive in saying, you know what, these guys, implicitly, obviously implying the right wing is trying to split this country apart, and they're trying to divide us, and don't let them do it. And he went back to that over and over again. And so I thought it was interesting that he did that in the context of this foreign policy speech. And if it means it's a new attitude for Obama and fighting back harder against that kind of partisanship, well, that's a great thing. But we'll have to see how that plays out.
Watch more clips at theyoungturks.com.